Oh, hi. Welcome to my schoolhouse.
Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep!
Welcome to Baldi's Basics in Education and Learning.
One schoolhouse, one math professor, one problem that can't be solved. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the deranged school of Baldi's Basics. From what looks like something that crawled out of MS Paint hell, Baldi's Basics takes you on a magical math journey that will leave you with never-ending nightmares. You are thrown to a schoolhouse with this fine fella, and you're on a quest to recover 7 magical notebooks scared about this cursed building. Immediately, I'm thrown back into my younger years where little Swanky was powering through edutainment games of the past, from number munchers to more complex games like the Secret Island of Dr. Quandary. I spent a lot of time at school playing through these. While the core of these games were education-based, that doesn't mean they weren't enjoyable. That doesn't mean Reader Rabbit wasn't the coolest thing ever. Well, maybe it does. But the fact that we can indulge in games at school was absolutely superb. Swinging back over to Baldi's Basics though, I think that's exactly why people were enjoying this so much. The awful artwork is on par with some of the earlier games we played. And the robotic nature of the voices in the game are spot on too. Oftentimes, we really didn't care about the world of edutainment games. We'd finish playing it and then we'd go back to school. And when we got home, we'd fire up our other video games. But Baldi's Basics is different though because I did want to know about this world. What was going on in this world of eye-bleeding artwork? One would think there is no story present here at all. I mean, even one of the chalkboards reads, "Place lore here," signifying that there isn't anything to be covered. But I don't think that's the case at all. Humor me for a second, but the objects, characters, and environments of a game tell a story on their own. And beneath the madness that is Baldi, I think there's actually a story that can be derived. Something creepy and abstract. The true story of Baldi and the horrors of the school. But before I dive into Theoryland, let's cover what we know. Believe it or not, there's actually a story that's provided with the game. And it reads as follows. Oh no, school is out, but your friend has a problem. He left all his notebooks in school, but doesn't have time to go and get them. Because if he does, he'll be late for eating practice. To help him out, you have to go back in the school and find all 7 of his notebooks for him. It won't be easy though. Baldi loves challenging his students with fun trivia problems whenever he can. Each time you find a notebook, you'll have to answer some questions. Answer all 3 correctly, and you will earn a prize. Find all 7 notebooks, and then exit the school to win. Seems pretty straightforward enough. 7 legendary notebooks all waiting to be collected. 1 friend who has to practice his eating, which I imagine means, oh crap, I'll be late for dinner if I have to go back. And 1 Baldi, who is still lingering after school hours. So now we have the baseline story in place. But this is where things get interesting, because now we must scavenge the school to actually piece together what is going on here. So let's start off with our main adversary in this adventure, Mr. Baltimore. Or at least creeping on the developer's Twitter, it looks like we might be able to assume his full name could be based on the insanely deep lore he revealed. Swinging back over to the game though, there's a room in the building that specifically outlines blurbs associated with each of the characters. Baldi states that he's a great teacher due to his incredible hearing abilities. He can not only tell where any sound came from, but who made it too. I'm not sure why having great hearing warrants someone being a great teacher. I mean, I guess you could catch people misbehaving in class when your back is turned, but it seems like an odd skill. Obviously, it's letting us know he can hear us when we make noises in the game, but the fact that he can kind of hear us from anywhere is kinda creepy. I mean, there are plenty of other characters running around the school, so you think that would distract him some. But nope, Baldi, with his laser focus, hunts us down 1 ruler hit at a time. It's also pretty interesting to me that Baldi starts off rather friendly before ultimately turning into a complete monster. He welcomes us to his schoolhouse, despite him only being a teacher there, and he even rewards us with a quarter for our first good deed. However, perhaps this is only to drag us into a false sense of security. We entered this schoolhouse and found 2 notebooks really easily, but the last 5 are going to be quite the challenge, which is bizarre if you stop and think about it. Our friend told us that he left his notebooks in the school, which would make one think that all the notebooks should be together. I mean, how does someone conveniently leave all the notebooks in separate classrooms, and then ask their friend to go retrieve them all? Or perhaps they were all in one area, but Baldi scattered them across the school so he could hunt us down with a ruler. It's like the most dangerous game, except Baldi isn't using a gun. And when we finally do get those 7 blasted notebooks, despite failing every quiz associated with them, our world transforms around us. The halls grow blood red, and we find ourselves having a super hard time trying to escape. Baldi lays down a steady ruler beat track as he sprints through the halls closing in on us. But doesn't all this seem super weird? The school is literally terraforming around us and changing its shape as we try to escape. And I think this paints a clearer picture of what is really going on here. It's all a dream. Womp womp. I know, that's usually the worst explanation to anything because it's a cop-out. But hear me out on this. As a child in early grade school, I often had school-related dreams that would highlight my greatest fears, whether it be a difficult test, classmates being jerks, or a teacher that terrified us. For a lot of people, schools aren't the best environments. There's a lot of pressure at school for a ton of different reasons. The things we see in Baldi seem to mimic these scenarios, but it's almost as if they are being amplified and being released all at once. What if we were a kid who struggled with math? For some people, it doesn't click right away, especially at a young age. Anything related to math would eventually grow to be a pain point for us. We'd hate math because we aren't good at it. And we grow to hate our math teacher because he is a source of that pain. What better nightmare fuel? Your friend is relying on you to gather their things, but you come across unsolvable math problems that only make your instructor more and more angry. You continually fail over and over again as your teacher becomes further infuriated at your actions. And to top things off, you run into other people who try to block you as you escape your teacher. How they actually look escapes your memory, and you just remember them for what they stand for. A broom for the janitor.
Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep!
A sock puppet for the arts and crafts student. A blurry face with a jump rope for the girl who asked you to jump rope at recess.
Break, no, 1, 2.
The principal who only mutters on and on about the rules in the hallway.
No eating food in the halls. No running in the halls. No stabbing people with pencils in the halls. No entering school faculty only rooms in the halls.
You even encounter someone who bullies you into giving them your food.
I'll take that. It's mine now.
Regardless of what happens though, your teacher, Mr. Baldi, walks towards you step by step as you panic. It's a nightmare where you can never run fast enough or get away. And to make matters worse, if you do manage to get all the notebooks, the reality of your world collapses, and it truly becomes a nightmare that seems impossible to escape. The hallways change as the school around you reacts to your frightened emotions. It tries to become a labyrinth that you can't escape from. But if you do manage to escape, you simply awake. You awake to a splash screen that says, "You won." You have a math test today and you're dreading it. Or at least that's what we can try to piece together from this. Now obviously, this is a game jam game. And those who don't know what that is, it's a game created under certain rules within a specific window of time. I've actually attended a few game jams myself, and they're actually really cool collaborative experiences. Sometimes you make a game in 48 hours, sometimes longer. Baldi's was built around the theme of metagames. Metagames typically break the fourth wall, parody other titles, or involve looking through game files or other assets. There's a lot they can contain. For example, Doki Doki Literature Club was a great metagame because it was a dating sim parody with an overhauled metagame within. Baldi's fits into the same style, just in a different way. Even though no overarching story was outlined for us in Baldi's Basics, what we have present is enough to try to piece one together. It's like stumbling upon a crime scene and only having the clues. We thought it was Colonel Mustard with a pipe in the dining room, but it was actually just Baldi in the hallway with the ruler. Obviously, we're trying to stitch together a story out of complete nonsense. But I guess that's what's sort of fun about it as well. But now that I dumped that on all of you, I'd love to know what you think. What do you think is going on in Baldi's Basics? A crazy nightmare fueled by a fear of math? Did our friends set us up and try to sacrifice us to a math demon? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in to this deadly exam. If you haven't already, check out my creepy playlist of other video game theories. Doki Doki Literature Club, Five Nights at Freddy's, Dream Daddy, Bendy, and so much more. Anyways, thanks for watching guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.